Greetings, Metanthropes, and welcome to the resurrected series of Meta Monday. This is the official episode 50, I suppose, even though it has been like a year or something. I'm your host and narrator, John, but I'm your co-host tonight as I'm joined by our fellow co-host and co-founder of Legitamine Games, the Orchestrator. Greetings.
Hello, everyone. It's lovely to be here co-hosting Meta Mondays with you, John.
Meta Mondays is the series on which we gained the affiliate on Twitch. This is where it all began, long before we started streaming sessions or having collaborations. This is where we started talking about our game, and this is where we continue upon this new era, going towards the core era. So today, if you want to chat, you can chat with us. We will be interacting everything we see on chat. If you want to lurk, we also love our lurkers. And yeah, are you excited, QP?
Yeah, we've been talking about doing something like this and resurrecting Meta Mondays for quite some time now, and I'm excited to start talking about what's coming next and what's right around the corner in this series. Ideally, we were thinking of doing this more often than not, and be more open and forthcoming in the current state of development in the various aspects of the Foundry V13 modules, plural, I should clarify.
Yeah.
And we thought about starting today with the very first version 13 demo, right, John?
Yeah. So what we see here in this very first Meta Monday Resurrected series is also my very first time that I'm seeing with my own eyes and my own interface the version 13 of version 13 of Foundry Virtual Tabletop Platform, and it's also our very own version 0.13, right, for our modules. So
What we have right now, and people can see, is the prototype build for version 13. Yes.
So
Everything you can
immediately,
see is
the first thing that catches my eye is this. Is like everything is seamless and blending in with the environments, and up until you know hover your mouse over them, it's then where they present themselves.
it's, I think, a great step in the right direction from Foundry version 13, which is thank you, Vindigo. We will lower the music a little bit.
Yeah, lowering light now. Thank you for telling
Vindigo
us.
Atrium, thank you for letting us know. So yeah, John, this is your very first time that you are actually running version 13 and looking at version 13. I've been working at it for months, so for me, I guess the nuance of things I've become accustomed to it as we've been developing our module for version 13. But the very first thing that is strikingly different than before is that there is this default behavior in the whole user interface, this new user interface, which is say, that really takes it out of your way, making the whole process of interacting with this platform way more immersive than it was before. All of the majority of the elements really tend to disappear when you're not actually hovering or clicking on them or interacting with them. So the attention has been brought down to the battle map, the canvas itself, which I think is where the point of playing a virtual tabletop is in the first place.
You
So
showed me something.
tell us, John,
Yeah.
what do you think looking from the very first controls and all that?
I really like it. It really you know, all the focus is on the battle map and the actions and the scenes and not on the info around. And you saw me earlier something what I find really, really cool, which is the dice rolling. So we roll our dice here and it presents the chat box over here, and just this last roll, and as long as I have the mouse on it, it stays, and if I put the mouse somewhere else, it disappears.
Yeah.
This I find very interesting.
A lot of folks have, and we as well. I mean, we've previously always had our chat window always open, and you can still do that if you just click on the chat icon on the top right hand
Boom.
side of the corner.
Yeah.
It will still pin the whole sidebar UI to your screen, so you can still look at the full chat. But unless you really want to be interacting with the chat, in most cases you don't really need it open. I mean, I guess narrators would like to have some place that they can refer to the roles, the results of players, and we will talk about in a later episode about what we have in mind in store for that. But for the majority of the players, when they are actually playing, having to see the relevant information pop up and then hide again is more immersive, bringing you more closer to the action. We should clarify here that in this demo we're running, it's the latest version 13 stable, and we also have the dice so nice module, those 3D dice that you see animated. I actually haven't really play tested with any modules. This is one of the first few times that I've run them. Version 13 became stable as Foundry released it a few days ago, so not all the modules that exist on the platform have already updated to support version 13. We also have running the combat carousel combat tracker, which we used in the past. I haven't play tested it at all, so there might be bugs introduced in the version 13 conversion. Just putting it out there before we actually show any of the demos. Although John is clicking some of the roles. Perhaps we should talk a little bit more about another cool feature that's part of version 13, which is movement now is built in to the canvas. As you can see here, as we're moving through hexagons, it correctly calculates and displays the number of meters that we're traveling. And a nice, very cool feature, we really love it because we use the top-down tokens approach, is that now tokens auto-rotate to the direction that they are facing.
Yeah,
We used to have an additional module to support that, but it's now baked into the Foundry itself. So that's great to have.
And also, it's like I have like a purple line of hexagons, whereas you have a blue. Yes. It's because you have chosen blue as your color, right?
Yes, that's my player color. Yeah. This is I have to say that this is the default behavior that comes with version 13. Besides letting it know that in Metanthropes we use this hex grid, which every hex has 2 meters. I haven't really done any other customization. Very shortly, we will have the full integration of the Metanthropes movement rules to come into that. Currently, as we can demo in the next scene with the opera, is that we can now create scene regions that will make the movement more difficult. So this all functionality to make difficult terrain is now baked and built into Foundry with basic system support. When Metanthropes fully supports the new functionality, we will also allow to limit the player token movement to only the movement based on the available movement they have for that turn and other things like that. But what you see as in the prototype build is actually a build that is very, very close to finish. I will later we'll do some demo and I'll explain some of the outstanding issues that still remain, but hopefully you guys will be able to download it in the next few days. I was planning on having it ready tonight, but unfortunately some last minute bugs prevent me from doing so. And this is going to be Metanthropes version 0.13, just to follow the major release version for Foundry, but effectively is bringing not only our system to support version 13, but also we're introducing a bunch of new things. So this version coming in the next few days will be the first, but won't be the last. Far from it, actually. Metanthropes will keep iterating and releasing new builds very often during the version 13 life cycle. So for the next year, we plan to have Metanthropes version 1.0 release on version 13. John has opened up on the screen the character sheet that we have. This is still with the old UI.
But there are some new
But
things
it's
here. I see some new things.
mhm,
I see some new fonts, and also we have fully integrated our font awesome instead of emojis, right?
yes. However, the platform itself, the whole window you're using, it's still the old application version 1.
Yeah.
So as part of our roadmap for version 13 is to release the new UI along with our data stuff that is coming very soon. Um, so the system will also have the new user interface. What's cool about the new user interface is that you can decide whether you like a dark or a light background, and it will automatically change all the UI elements. Right now, John, I believe you have dark as default, um, but there's also the light element.
Yeah.
Right now, this is
This
the
is
only
yeah.
element of the Metanthrope system that is with the new application version 2 framework. So this window that appears when you right click for a role is now using uh, the new technology, the application version 2. It also has some new stuff for us, but Foundry has them, like the multi-language support. So this window is able to be fully localized, and some other cool stuff that are borderline technical. So I won't really get into much of that right now. But um, one of the things that is coming with version 13 is, and I believe we had a question in our Discord earlier about from MB to talk about styling UI fonts and emojis, and the big one is CSS. So, John, you mentioned that we have gotten rid of the emojis. The truth be told is that this current build that you have right now still has a couple of emojis left over, but I am working on finishing this build, and these will be gone.
Ah, yes, I
Everything has
see
been
like
replaced with
a couple
font awesome.
here that are emojis instead of font awesome, like the VS, for example. We never found a
There's a little
replacement.
VS,
Yeah.
there's a little healing. A few of them have escaped. If you go to the Metanthropes core compendium, all 100 meta powers have been correctly updated. However, these guys, because they don't reside on the core module, but they reside on the free system,
Mhm.
uh, they need special treatment to update everything on
So we
their
will be able
actual.
to put some color onto those font awesomes, right?
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Font Awesome. First off, Font Awesome is all these icons that you see on Foundry UI. These icons, bro, if you wanna show the icons on the right-hand side of the screen, the chat, all those are these are Font Awesome. Uh,
Yeah.
Foundry has always been using Font Awesome um, for its own user interface, as well as many other websites and applications use Font Awesome because they're awesome. So what we decided to do as a company is to invest in a professional Font Awesome license. So we now are also able to include and provide our own Font Awesome custom icons with Metanthropes. And as you can see, if you click on the Meta Powers button, we have the symbol of Metanthropes appearing as a font awesome icon within the game itself. So, although uh, uh, so font awesome are in, they're awesome, and so what's different? I mean, why is it better than emojis? Emojis, which we have been using for many years since our website, essentially are Unicode characters. What this means technically is that it's not really something that you can position very well comparatively to the other elements that you would have in a user interface. So the emoji sometimes might be, couple of pixels higher or lower than the center line to
Yeah.
be. You can't really affect and resize it. You can't blow it up to be bigger or smaller. The resolution isn't always there. And the biggest issue with emojis is that they're different for every device that your
Right.
user is using. So if
Right.
someone's using a Mac and someone's using a PC or a
Or
tablet
a
or
phone,
whatever,
or
they
yeah,
all see
yeah.
kind of different icons, slightly different icons. So we've been looking to what is the best alternative, and which is the Font Awesome library. And we decided to go with the full professional license because we wanted to select a specific style for the Metanthropes UI, and also to be able to do very cool stuff like what you would see if you were to roll a critical
I'm
success.
trying, but
And because John,
or a failure.
yeah,
Ah, yeah,
John
I did
will
it! I
spend
did
a
it!
lot of Destiny.
I did it actually. Critical success.
What did you?
A
You had a
critical success.
critical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize it. Okay, so there you go. So the critical success, as you can see, the icon is now flashing and pulsing, and it's having animation. It's more. What's the word, John, that I'm looking for?
It's
How
more
would you
immersive,
describe it?
I would say. I would say that's uh, this font also have a sort of customization which we can play with. So yes, this critical success now flashes, but we can do so with also ban this bot from chat, please. Uh, you can do so with let's say we take the custom icon of the Metanthropes logo and we put it on chat, and we have it like changing rainbow style colors, or glowing, for a few seconds when you roll a critical success, or whatever the case may be. It's
Yeah,
really, really
it gives
interesting
us
and interactive. Will
Yeah,
certainly
it gives
help.
us a lot of options to really change how the icon appears, and if, for example, you're about to target someone and you want to highlight and remove one of their conditions. During this phase, we can have the conditions that are eligible to have their icon flashing with a certain color or a certain flashing animation that will make them stand out. And we can do this on the fly without really having to have custom icons each for each occasion, create our own animations and all that. We just use the Font Awesome engine, and we're going to also have the ability to give you guys some colors that you would like for default to customize,
Yeah, for let's
because we want
say,
to make sure that people that are colorblind and correctly distinguish between colors, they should be able to customize some of our color elements in the UI to make sure that it works best for them. Just on this subject, with the emojis, we had some icons not very. If you were colorblind, you couldn't really distinguish failure from success, simple failure from simple success, for example, because both were essentially a box that
yeah.
was colored differently. So when we did the font also migration, we made sure to include and make sure that every font awesome icon is also unique. in shape and texture, not just color. Not you have two icons that are very similar, but
Yeah.
color distinguishes them. So with these things, compared the player, the user choosing their own custom color is not yet baked into the build that's going to be released very soon. But yeah, the idea is that you will be able to affect some of your own customization in how you want these things to appear.
Speaking of the
So font
customization on
awesome
the font
is
awesome, I really like the
Mhm,
thing that we're discussing about the Destiny icon, for example, which is the crossed
mhm.
fingers. That with the emojis could just use one, which is the base, which is like the yellow toned fingers like that. But now you will have the option of making it any color you wish, and to make it something you preferably like or familiarize, or that is closer to your character. So these little customizations when it comes to something like font awesome and text, it's like, I think it's details, but details play a bigger role than a small one.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And as you said, the little details are where Font Awesome really shines, um, because right now, although as you can see when you roll abilities, activate powers, the text chat is not yet. Um, so I would suggest, John, roll me something that has a lot of accumulated levels of success for options, for example, and I'll
Uh,
demonstrate what
okay.
I mean. I think I believe a time
Uh,
bender has some stuff like that. Uh,
Time bender.
let me
Okay.
see.
Let me remember. Maybe it's like temporal warping.
The reality check, perhaps, or
To be fair, I'm clicking on the icons and nothing happens. Maybe you can try rolling. Maybe.
ah,
There it is.
I want to find one. Perhaps this one for the kinetic movement. Yeah. So, so as you can see here, for example, you have uh, now in the chat area all the icons that were previously emojis now are replaced with font awesome, and by default all the font awesome are neutral gray, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're shades of gray. So in this, for example, case, we could potentially only color the ones that you have achieved as results, for example. So instead of
Gotcha.
trying
Yeah.
to focus your eyes in reading the whole text, you just go to the one that's highlighted, which is your
Yeah.
the option that you
So,
would
so
probably
let's
want
say
to
that
achieve
you accumulated three
to
levels of
select, for example.
success with that role. It will color like signify that the two and the three, but not the four, right?
Yeah, yeah, we
I
could do
like this one.
something
Yeah.
like that. I'm not
Interesting.
saying this is what we will do, we will end up doing, because the UI will not be in chat, it will be in a screen, in a dialogue screen when we bring a role orchestrator in the center, and then the chat will only have the result of the role. So as a player who is not activating the meta power himself, they won't see all these options. They only see the end result that actually affects them or affects
Yeah.
the encounter. So, but yeah, during selection, which is currently being done in chat, the player will be able to use the custom, well, not custom, but the some cool things that come with Font Awesome properties to make information stand out, and together with having all the minimal elements in the Foundry UI, having information that stands out will really help the players to
Mm,
spend as little time as possible in figuring out what's the important stuff, what's important for me to understand and decide upon, and then
yeah.
move on with the action, move on with the role play. So uh, so Font Awesome is awesome, and it's now part of Metanthropes. Very soon, this development step will conclude. There are still a couple of outlying tasks, to do. And then there is before releasing, we fixed some critical bugs that showed up in the last moment, but we still have to do something about the journals, which it blends in nicely with a topic that MV wanted to ask about SCSS, or SAS, as they call it, which is the programming language being used to affect all those um, UI elements. So, for example, John opened a page
Yeah.
moments ago with the meta powers, and you could see that one of the pages was with text that was barely readable. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the way things are, and I'll try to not be too technical, is that you have the data, the paragraph text, the icons, and the um, little items that these buttons link to as information, and then you have this language SAS, which is telling the user interface how to render and how to show this information. Now, traditionally, Foundry had followed and provided some of their own style guide, let's say, that you could follow. However, we have tried to replace a lot of it to give Metanthropes a more distinct, unique look and feel compared to when you were running other systems that also are running on Foundry. So we wanted Metanthropes to be a little bit different in the look and feel from other modules. And with version 13, Foundry team has really outdone themselves in incorporating the technology of cascade layers. What
Cascade
essentially
layers.
this does is, it's a very cool name, isn't it? Cascade
Yeah.
layers.
What is it? What is it though?
So essentially, instead of having everything in one big file with um, the developer having to manually do tricks to set the priority, the hierarchy of things, essentially, when you have no, by definition, no hierarchy,
Mm-hmm.
it's it requires developer skills to build a virtual type of hierarchy that you control in some weird element so that your button shows instead of the default Foundry button, and your font applies instead of the default font. There was always, at least myself coming into this scene as a new developer, really chaotic and could not really figure out why this is happening or which way should I go and all that. The With the Foundry version 13, it brings kind of like a hierarchy to the whole process, and it's now very very clear how you should approach replacing elements, if those elements are part of the core Foundry UI, or if those elements are just for your system. So, for example, right now what we have is we have buttons. The same button that exists on the character sheet exists on the Foundry user interface, exists on the chat. Pretty much it's the same thing. And
Mm-hmm.
although previously you could still, customize it and do it everything different in its own way, now, by providing this hierarchy and this structure, the Foundry team with Cascade Layers in version 13 allows us as developers to follow this hierarchy, and this makes our job much easier because we now don't have to fight who is going to appear first, second, third when applying effects
For
for a
some
button.
reason,
Because
it reminds me of the Magic the Gathering, the stack.
yes,
It's
yes,
like
in many ways it is exactly like that. It's like who came first and who came last and whose turn is to do the thing. But there also exist things like slash or like,
instant,
writing
instant
some
spells.
command in the code that
Yeah.
you clear the stack and no other, not just instant, but it also has things like
Uh,
What was that magic effect? I
Split,
forget.
no, split second.
Split second.
I think it was
Split
split
second,
second
where
something. Yeah.
not only you go first, but you also don't allow anyone else
Yeah.
to interrupt you and shit
Yeah.
like that. So, as a developer, trying to learn all these languages and understand what I'm supposed to be doing, having to fight all those things. I mean, cheers to the Foundry development community because there are some CSS wizards in there and they gave me answers. I would just copy the thing they said and I pasted it and it worked. And I was like, I don't understand why this works, what this is, dark wizardry. And I mean, okay, granted, over the weeks, months in between, I can now understand why what's happening and what, but especially like a year ago, oh my god, what is this? Why is this happening? I don't understand. So
Okay.
from a
So
developer
yeah.
standpoint, okay, version 13 really kind of clears the ground and goes like, these are the rules, this is the hierarchy, this is the ladder. If you want to override something in that element, this layer, something in this layer. You as a system developer, you have your own layer to play with and no one else touches it, so if someone writes a module that works on your system, it will also automatically appear with your system UI element to users of that module and other those things. Now, having said that, I don't expect every module out there to fully implement this new technology it introduces. However, it's very important that from the developer side, these guidelines basically now exist that we can follow, and this will hopefully make our integration of custom themes and custom UI elements much simpler, smoother, and will allow for others to build upon and so on and so forth.
Shout
Now,
out to the development
um,
team of Foundry
yeah,
then, because yeah, they're doing the things under the hood that me personally or
oh yeah,
people who are just GMs won't, or players, especially players, won't really notice. But they're making the job for people like you who are into the development side of things easier to customize their own homebrew systems. So yeah, much appreciated as members of the community,
yeah.
definitely.
The Foundry team has gone big strides, and not just the team itself, but also the community of developers. There are a lot of folks who have spent a lot of time to build a great documentation on the wiki. It has improved drastically over the past few years, and this is basically telling you, okay, if you want to do this, this is kind of what you should follow. This is how it should look like. It really helps out of nowhere for people like me who have very limited developer experience to write our own systems without the support of the wiki and the Foundry Discord or the system developer channel. None of it would be possible. So huge shout out to this amazing community. Now, as part of the Meta Monday series, one topic we've been discussing, John, is whether we would also share in that great community of people sharing, and we were talking about whether it would make sense for us to do a more code focused discussion on a more recurring basis. I don't know, chat, what do you guys think,
Hmm.
if this is something that would interest you, to have like a monthly or bi-weekly series where we go down and we open up Visual Studio and we're talking about code, how to do this, how did we do that, and talk about Metanthropes version 1 going forward, all the cool stuff that we will be doing over the next few months. We have been
So
thinking about how
uh,
to make it more accessible and kind of
yeah,
give back to the community.
before we go to the cool dice rolling and damaging stuff, let's talk a little bit about what exactly our version 1 will bring to the table. Why, in 2 years or something of development, we're still in the 0.xx version instead of the what drastically and dramatically changes when we put that number 1 and the on the front.
So the idea is that version 1 will have um, will have caught up a lot of the technical debt that currently exists in the prototype builds. So what do I mean by that? So as I started learning how to code and how to do stuff on Foundry, it's been a very slow and kind of bumpy ride, you could say. And what you guys have in front of you, or will have in on your hands to play with in a few days, is this prototype build. Uh, it's working. Okay, it's functional. Some of the things they work. They're not major bugs or other issues that are breaking your experience or your gameplay, but it's not really done in the best way that it could be done. And the more I tend to this prototype build, the more I upgraded from version 9, I think it was first released, or version 9, 8 or 9. I think it was version 9, and then version 10 came out, so I updated for version 10, then version 11, version 12, now version 13. I've been updating and supporting a prototype that was never really meant to outlive its days beyond the version it was written upon.
Yeah,
But
gotcha.
we were keep adding features and testing stuff. Could we do this? How could we do this? And so on and so forth, that it kept, growing and growing and becoming what it is today. And with the version 13, I know we've saved it for last, but I will spoil it. We also have some new features that we were going to show you that are introduced. So every time a new version of Foundry came out, we've been delivering new features as well as patching the prototype to work with the new version. We haven't really taken the time to rewrite some of the, as you said, under the hood functionality that is that we should really be doing right now, and we are doing right now, and that will become version 1. So version 1 will have data models, which is a very different way to store and access information stored in the system. It will bring the new user interface
Yeah,
for Foundry
this is
application version 2.
also a big one. Our own new user interface made by One Sick Puppy, multidisciplinary creative studio.
Yes,
And
actually,
everything that
yeah.
you see here is gonna be totally different. And the chat logs over here and the journals over here, like basically everything will have a different look and feel, which is gonna be cohesive and coherent with the website and Foundry and the PDFs, and basically everything that is Metanthropes will have its own visual identity going forward. Very excited.
So yeah, so version 1.0 for Metanthropes will be the one that this full new user interface, user experience, colors, branding, everything will be defined. So in addition to all of those technical stuff, there's also another, also technical but very important feature, which is the multi-language support. We want to have, when we say this is version 1, we want everything to be able to be localized, because we know we have some Latin language speaking communities and others that would really benefit from having the ability to translate everything in their own native tongue. So we want, when we have Metanthropes version 1.0, to have this capability baked into the version 1 release. Now, having said all that, version 1 release will also mean that we have polished some of the triggers and the custom animations and all the cool stuff. So version 1 is not just under the hood technical improvements, but also when you get one of our premium modules, like the introductory module that many of you are probably familiar with. In the introductory module, we want to come back. We still don't consider it fully finished just because we haven't done those things. Is polishing some cool script macros and active effects and all that stuff. that it needs to happen. So version 1 is still not very close to being realized, but we decided instead of holding version 13 until version 1 goes until our version 1 is ready, um we're going to um be iterating as we go forward, pushing updates to our homebrew owners, then the core owners, and finally, when everything is polished and beta tested, is going to release to everyone.
What I also
So,
love, what version 1 and the data models will bring to the table is the implementation of species and subspecies in a way that you can have different targeting values. So let's say that I activate a meta power that only affects Metanthropes. You will have only eligible targets Metanthropes tokens. We have this like data model placed on them, and not any humans or any plants or any aliens and so on. And this will essentially, we're getting step by step closer to the whole idea that you don't really need to know the rules. It will be all seamlessly integrated, and you will just click things, and if it applies, applies. If it doesn't, then you must be doing something, non-eligible. So all those things basically will make the games run faster and keep the immersion levels high without need to check on the rules. Does this apply to Metanthropes or just humans? So, if it does, it does. You don't need to worry about it. So, yeah, it is a big change, but it will be under the hood. It will be visual elements, and it will also be practical elements that you save you game time, which is everything, something we all love. Uh, MB is asking for sneak peeks. If we have them.
Yes, in fact, I was thinking that because we have set up, and again, this Monday we haven't really, but during this week we're going to sit down with our creative director and go over the Foundry UI elements and the areas that we want to focus this first iteration. Um, the idea is to have one, as John mentioned, unique brand style and look and feel for from the website to the Foundry to the PDFs to the printed books, everything to have this unique, seamless language
Experience,
that
yeah.
everything, everything is like, oh, this is Metanthropes. So um, a lot of the user interface in the character sheet is going to change. I will still, I still see us using buttons like tabs, but I'm not sure that the tabs that we have right now today are still going to remain, or the whole thing is going to remain. What definitely will remain is the responsive UI. So we really feel that character sheet should not be this static block of text that always hides 2/3 of your screen. It's intrusive, it's irrelevant most of the time. So having the ability to resize your character sheet is going to be baked into the heart of our new UI. So expect, as John is demonstrating, resizing, clicking simple buttons, resizing the UI elements to fit the screen that you want, is going to be key. Another key part is going to have, of course, the support for the dark and light mode. So two distinct UIs. You can think of it as two distinct UI elements if you prefer dark or light background. And we're going to have all the font awesome integration that I mentioned before, with the abilities of the meta powers themselves becoming an SVG type, vector type graphic that will incorporate seamlessly with the existing. So the new meta power icons that are going to come with the new UI are also blend seamlessly with the color and the theme that you have selected. And You will have the ability, as we mentioned earlier, to do some customization to have them flashing or blinking depending on, so, maybe someone is targeting you, right? And you can do reactions. Maybe instead, when I'm on my actions tab,
Right.
the reaction starts flashing,
Yeah.
or if there are multiple reactions appropriate,
Yeah.
starts flashing. Or when I'm selecting the next meta power to upgrade to, maybe the recommended option is flashing, and so on and so forth. So all this logic will come later, and for sure we will be sharing things as we go, because your feedback is very important. It's not like this is the new UI, we decided, take it or leave it, but hey guys, this is, what we have right now, and give us your thoughts and give us your feedback on, maybe some buttons need to be moved up, down, right. Maybe there isn't enough clearance to, or this element is not very legible, and all these things. But yeah, we are working hard to bring this whole thing together. It's a process that, honestly, when we sat down a few months ago and started planning this, uh, I don't think either of us, John, thought that this would be, mid of May and still not have some things done by now. But it is what it is.
Is what it
Sometimes
is.
you plan and plans break, and you have to um, deal with different deadlines. So it is what it is. We're doing our best, however, and we are progressing in a good pace right now. We're very happy with the progress.
So let's
And
show
perhaps,
our dear viewers what they will have in their hands pretty soon. Uh,
yes,
it is time, right, for the damaging and healing
yeah, yeah,
and all that cool stuff. Yeah, and
yes.
let's start by mentioning that this won't be just for top tier modules or something. It will be built in for the system, so everybody will be able to enjoy it pretty soon once it releases.
Yes. We need to give a shout out to all our beta testers that over the past few months have looked at the various iterations of this feature as it was being developed and gave us feedback on things we should and shouldn't do. Again, this feature is of course not final, but it's good enough and stable enough that we feel that everyone will get their hands, will get this feature to play with the next build that's coming very soon. So what is this about? And of course, if you've been beta testing, you kind of hinted, you kind of knew where we're going with it. Now, damage and healing is automatically applied for actors when you use a possession or a meta power that has a duration of instant. What does that mean? The majority of meta powers and possessions that deal damage, things like a shotgun or your strike or a
Flames, or
lightning bolt or a
yeah,
fireball, these things are all instant. What is not instant? Things that do
damage
a
over
damage
time.
over time.
Yeah, basically.
So the damage over time effects will come sooner or later with the active effects implementation.
Right.
So once this thing is in place, everything that does at the end of the turn some damage will be implemented then. However, everything else that is applying damage or healing instantaneously is now actually doing this. So
let's do
to
it.
demonstrate this,
Yeah,
John,
demonstration.
why don't you take our friend the pyrokinesis guy, and he's going to be the antagonist, okay? And he's gonna go up against the other three, I should
Okay.
say, right? And so what I would like you to do is change one of the other three to have some kind of resistance to elemental damage. So
Right. Let's say
not
the
only damage
regen.
and healing is applied, but
Yeah.
sorry,
Let's say the
yeah,
regeneration has a 50 elemental resistance, the one on the right. But the other two are
okay,
vulnerable.
go ahead and give him that resistance.
Yeah. So how do I target them? Let's start because I'm not super familiar with targeting, to be honest, with the control.
Yes, yes,
or,
this is new for you who haven't used it before, but it's actually pretty easy. You just right click on the token that you want to target.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, there are many ways. One way to do it is to right click on the token and
Mhm.
select the little target icon.
Target, yeah, I suppose.
Um,
Boom. Okay. And I can do that to
so,
multiple.
and
Boom.
you can do that to multiple targets, yes.
Boom.
Right
Interesting.
now, with the current prototype build, we don't really check to see if you have selected legal targets according to the meta power or possession you're activating, okay?
Yeah.
So this will come down the line, but right now, if you target something with the Foundry UI, we assume this is a legal target
Mm-hmm.
for this meta power. So go ahead and activate some, let's
So,
say the flamethrower
yeah,
or something.
my character gets near to them and with a mere physical gesture erupts in flames, as scorching as a dragon's breath, shooting forth from my character's fingertips, and basically tries to burn three of the Metanthropes in front of them. Um, and I don't know, is there a small issue maybe?
Try refreshing. This is a development server, development build. So
How do I
bugs. I
refresh
have debuggers on the
the
maybe no
FLC?
debuggers firing off, but do a refresh if it's not working for you. Do an F5.
Yeah.
Perhaps that will be.
So if let's
And if it's
target
not
them
working, we can
again.
take a quick break and come back and fix it off camera if it's something weirder.
But multiple targets is fine, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I click this one. Yes, we have a roll.
You need to target them individually like that. Yeah.
We have a roll. We are successful. As we can see now, the roll at full health. But now when I activate for damage, yes, they are damaged. But the one who had resistance was not damaged. So we have a successful test. Because it was 42 elemental damage, so this guy who had 50 elemental resist was not damaged, but the other two were in fact damaged.
Oh, you gave him 50. Okay,
Yeah,
perhaps you can re-roll your damage and see if you can do more than 50 then.
interesting.
Because so you now have the button to spend to re-roll damage.
Yeah,
And you got
52.
52.
So I must have
So
damage.
this guy lost
Yeah,
two hit points.
he did.
Yeah.
So we have a
So
successful
behind the
activation of
scenes,
damage.
what this thing does. Oh, and since you have this guy selected, you can then use the healing capabilities of regeneration guy to heal the other targets and reroll healing for them as well.
Yeah,
And while
let's
you
say
do
that
that,
the regeneration, it has targets only self, that shouldn't heal anyone else beside themselves. But let's
but
say,
but yeah, like I said, we're not really checking if the targets are valid, just what you have targeted right now.
right.
Now, so what does this thing do behind the scenes or under the hood? As John is dicing, is rolling a bunch of dice. The idea here is that for each of the targets that we have selected, when you spend to reroll the damage or healing done to them, it goes to that actor, and we have a flag that stores their previous life value. So when you click on rerolling, it restores for every target you had their previous life and then reapplies the new result that
Hmm.
you got for the damage or healing. And this is all done in such a way that it won't, hopefully, bug out if one client is lagging or the other has some kind of network awareness of the whole situation. So even if someone is in a slow connection and their dice is not showing up the same time as the dice show up in your screen, still damage won't go through. Anyways, um going on a tangent here, but the idea is that for the vast, well, I wouldn't say the vast majority, but for a good majority of the meta powers and the vast majority of possessions, damage and healing is now applied automatically to the targets you have selected, and you can also re-roll to undo and redo the results as long as you have destiny to spend, which is awesome. And
Hmm.
how's that for a closing demo, John? Do you like that?
Yeah, I think it was fine to get us rolling with the Meta Monday series. Now, what we would like is to see this becoming, if not a weekly thing, a bi-weekly, most likely, Meta Monday, with which we can discuss updates and news about Metanthropes. And
Yeah, let us know in the chat, on the Discord, in the comments of wherever you see this posted. Let us know what you would like us to talk about, focus on, if you'd like us to go deep into technical stuff or no, and how often you would like to see this kind of development talk.
yeah,
Um,
it was a
and
fun Resurrection Station episode for the Meta Monday series. This is like theory the 50th episode, although I think there's like a couple of them missing that were like not really recorded or something. We will get back into them. This we will record it. We have recorded it, and we will upload it on our Patreon page, which will be available for all members, not just the paid members. So free membership, no paywalls there. You can see all the development news and get you up to speed. And for our next live stream, it will be for our Greek audience on the Thursday, as every Thursday. Metanthropes Anthologies, the Lair Saga continues with episode 6, where we get inside the astral dimension. And yeah, there is new developments on the around the corner, right around the bend, and we are overly excited to share them with you.
We can't wait for the Forge to officially support version 13, hopefully in the next few days. So once
Yeah.
they do, and our version 13 prototype is also running, you're going to be updating that world to version 13 and running the rest of the saga on that with version 13. So I'm really excited to see how that works out. Ooh, you got a lot of exploding dice there. Good for
Yeah, an
you. More
explosive
damage
roll
dealing.
to end tonight's stream. It's good to be back. Thank you, QP, for joining us, and thank you, MB, and the rest for your questions. Thank you for watching, and as always,
Thank you for
above
having
all,
me.
stay legit and stay meta.
Stay meta.